So, I'm a really big fan of indie films, but the main streaming services don't really cater to that audience and don't have any of the films I'm looking for. So I thought I would make a streaming service for indie films. And I started looking around for ways to build this app. I'm not too familiar with app deployment, but I knew that this app would need some real infrastructure, something robust that's actually deployed. So I started looking at how to build that, but deploying infrastructure is complicated, and I'm not very familiar with documentation for all the different backend components and all the different configuration options. I wanted to deploy a prototype quickly so I could work on making the app better, not getting bogged down with technical documents. And while I was looking for solutions, I found this tool called InsideOut by Luther. And what InsideOut is, it's this agent that you talk to, and it configures with you and deploys your infrastructure for you, and then you can manage it from within the app. Let's just get started. I'm building a small streaming app for indie films. It's just a small prototype, so I only care about video streaming, and I'd like to use S3 for storage. And let's see what it says. Now, what I've done here is I had some stack components in mind to start with, so I've told InsideOut to use it, and this is really the time to do that. We only care about video streaming. InsideOut will use the feature information to build a better stack, and it's come back to us with a list of features that it thinks we need. So, we've got video storage for the films, smooth streaming, that's the main important thing, so no buffering, simple way for users to find films, and cost-efficient operations for our prototype. So this looks good, and let's proceed to storage setup. Yep, happy with that, let's start with that. Okay, and it's given us some stack suggestions for storage. So we've got S3, which is what I asked for, and CloudFront, which helps keep the films from buffering. And already you can see that our stack has started building in this window on the right. We've got our first components. So we can see that our architecture is serverless, and for cloud we've got AWS, and data storage S3, for example. Okay, this looks good, let's move on. Great, so for smooth video streaming we've got AWS Lambda and API Gateway for film requests. And this all looks good, so let's move on to the film catalog. Okay, and it's chosen DynamoDB for our film catalog. And any questions or tweaks? Actually, I do have a question. Why not use S3, considering we've already got S3? Let's see what it says. Okay, so S3 is good for large video files, but DynamoDB is better at searching through the film metadata for search efficiency. Okay, I see. So this is the kind of thing InsideOut is good at, is if you're not too familiar with the strengths and weaknesses of these stack components, it can help you choose so you don't waste time using components that ultimately aren't what you're going to settle on. Let's stick with Dynamo. Okay, let's look at cost-efficient operations. So, just basic stuff, monitoring, GitHub Actions. And because it's a prototype, this will watch the app's health. That's good, so we can keep an eye on it. Okay, this looks good. You can see now that we've got all our stack components. This list is considerably longer, and it's starting to flesh out. Okay, and it's given us our full consolidated stack. It's just what we've seen before, but it's just an opportunity to double check. And yeah, I'm happy with this. And here are the app specs. So it's a prototype, so about 500 users, small data volume, and really low fixed costs is the focus of this stack. So we can effectively prototype our app, but we're still not paying through the nose for it. This looks good. And here are our configurations. So we've got a 1 hour cache time for our content delivery to keep streaming smooth, but film details can update quick. 7-day logging, which is great because we will need to do lots of bug testing. And standard email sign-in for users. So all this config looks good. Now we can get a cost estimate. Here's our cost estimate. So $110 a month. Most of that is for our content delivery, as you would expect with a streaming service. But if the testing is smaller, that number will be lower. And at this point, do you want to change the stack to adjust the costs or set a maximum budget? So if my maximum budget was $100, we could ask to adjust the stack to meet that budget, so it wouldn't go over it. But I'm happy with this estimate, this looks fine, so let's generate those terraforms. Okay, and the terraform files are ready. And let's just take a moment to go over this stack, which is updated since we last saw it. Now you can see in the bottom right is the cost of that specific component broken down, so you can see everything about a component at a glance, including the terraform files. So if you press the terraform button, you'll see the terraform files for that individual component here, which you can download. And you can also view them for the whole stack, so every module and all of the other relevant files are here. And again, you can download them. Okay, this all looks good. Let's proceed to deploying. And we will just hit deploy my infrastructure. This window opens, you click apply Terraform, and off it goes. So now it's going to deploy that, and I'll be back when it's done. Okay, so it's finished deploying. This is what it looks like when it's finished deploying. It will say git commit created, and then that it's complete. And if I close this, I just want to show you one aspect of managing your infrastructure once it's deployed, which, let's say you wanted to inspect your S3 buckets. So inspect my S3 buckets. Let's see what it says. And as you can see here, after waiting for a bit, the deployment was successful and it's pulled the live S3 data. So we can see the bucket and it tells you the status, which is that it's active. And that's it. Another couple of things. This is a link to Luther's Discord. You can join and ask questions or request features for the product. And they're also offering this $50 Amazon gift card for 30 minutes of feedback on InsideOut. So you can click there to book a call and get your $50 Amazon gift card. I hope that was helpful for potentially building an app using InsideOut. And I hope you had a great day.